Good morning, children. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Children, today in our class we are going to discuss new chapter in geography. So before we start this chapter, I just want to tell you a small story. Are you ready, children? Yes. So once there was a boy, his name is Harish. What's his name, children? Harish. So this Harish, on the occasion of Diwali, he went to the market with his parents. He went to the market with his parents. So his parents purchased shoes, clothes, and some kind of things which he needed for him. His mother also purchased some kind of items, children, which are uh, necessary for the Diwali. Okay, like utensils, sugar, tea, clothes, diyas, it means earthen lamps, etc. So then Harish have observed that the shops in the market were over flooded with some items, children, for sale. They're readily available for sale in large quantities. So he wondered how so many items could be made in such large quantities. Yes. Then his father started explaining that how these kind of items, it means like shoes, clothes, sugar, and all those utensils, how can be manufactured or how can be made in such large quantities. So I hope you have guessed this chapter, children. Yes, you are right. That is nothing but the manufacturing industries. Today we are going to discuss about what, children? The manufacturing industries. Let's start the chapter. Children, at the end of today's class, you'll be able to learn the definition of manufacturing, importance of manufacturing, and the contribution of industry to national economy and industrial locations. So these are the important concepts which you are going to discuss in today's class. Okay? See, children, what do you observe in this module? Yes, you can observe different kinds of industries over here. So what is the original meaning of industry, children? Yes, we shall learn the meaning of industry just now. So industry means one particular business activity. What, children? Industry means one particular business activity. Now this business particular activity can be production of goods or it can be delivery of some services. So, what is a manufacturing industry actually? This manufacturing industry refers to those industries which involve in manufacturing or processing of raw materials. Okay, so they involve in manufacturing and processing of raw materials. For example, if you take the cotton, children, they convert the raw cotton into fabric. That fabric into ultimately a garment. So if you take a cocoon, if you take cocoons of silkworms, they convert the cocoons into yarn, that yarn into again the silk cloth, raw silk cloth, again cloth into a fabric. So likewise, the next example is raw rubber. So the sap of the rubber plant is collected, that's called raw rubber. They convert it into rubber products like types, tubes, etc. So in textbook also they have given some of the examples, children. Sugar from sugarcane, iron and steel from the iron ore. Okay, the next paper from the wood, and also aluminum from the bauxite. Let's see what is a manufacturing industry. So now a manufacturing industry belongs to secondary sector because it consumes raw materials from the primary sector. I repeat, a manufacturing industry belongs to which sector, children? Secondary, because I told you it involves some kind of process. Okay, so because it consumes the raw materials from the primary sector and convert them into finished goods. So now you must also know that the economic strength of the country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. So how do we calculate generally the economic strength of the country, children? Yes. So one of the easiest way is to find out its GDP. It means the country's GDP. What's the meaning of GDP, children? Gross domestic product. Gross domestic product. It means gross product. It means what? How much amount of production, the total production of the country is called gross domestic product. Domestic means what? Production within the country. So if I take the GDP of India, it is close to just 3 trillions. 3 trillions. Our GDP is what, children, of India is 3 trillions. But if you take the developed countries like United States of America, its GDP is more than 20 trillions. Its GDP is more than 20 trillions. So with this, what do you understand, children? Yes, developed countries mostly they develop their industries. What industries? Manufacturing industries. So the main reason of development in those countries is manufacturing industries. So we can say that the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. So the workers employed in the steel factories, cars, breweries, textile industries, bakeries, they all come under secondary sector. They all come under secondary sector. Now let us learn the importance of manufacturing industries, children. We have already learned that the manufacturing industries or manufacturing sector is the backbone of development. Because if the manufacturing industry is well developed in any country, that country is a developed country, economically and generally also. So, in this we are going to discuss the important factors which leads to importance of the manufacturing industries. The first one is manufacturing industries help in modernizing agriculture, which forms the backbone of economy also. How? How does this modernize agriculture, children? You know, by providing machines, fertilizers, pesticides, HIV seeds. These are the things which will be manufactured in the industries and will be supplied to the agriculture. So it will speed up the process of agriculture. Not only that, children, but also it increase the agricultural productivity also. It increase the agricultural productivity. Productivity means what? The produce or the output. Second, it can reduce the dependency of the people on agricultural income by providing jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors. If you established any company or industry, children, so the people over there in that who are living in that area will get jobs, right? So they try not to depend on agriculture and they try to work in the industry. So it leads to what, children? It reduces the dependency of people on agricultural income and getting jobs in the secondary and tertiary sectors. So most the people are shifting from primary to secondary as well as tertiary sectors also. So in developed countries, it is just 1 or 2% of population depends on agriculture, children. For example, if you take USA or Australia, these are the developed countries. In those countries, the dependence ratio on the agriculture is just 1 or 2%. But in our country, it is more than 50%. In our country, the population, 50% of the population depends on agriculture. So we can say that industrial development is a precondition or the prior condition for eradication of unemployment. Eradication means what? A removal of unemployment and poverty of a country. So it also brings down regional disparities. If you take two different places, what's the meaning of regional disparities, children? Regional differences. If you take two different places within a country, one is well developed. For example, you take Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a well developed city, right? And there is one more rural area which is surrounded by the Hyderabad. So where there is no development at all and the people also are very poor. So how can you remove the regional disparities among those two places? The removal of regional disparities can be easily solved by establishing manufacturing industries in those backward areas. So the people of that areas, they get employment and jobs and their standard of living will increase. Standard of living means what? Their effort to buy the things will increase. So another important factor of manufacturing industry is that if we export the manufactured goods, it will expand trade and commerce. So if whatever goods are produced in the country, if we try to export them, it will expand our trade and commerce in the international market. So, and if you do so, it brings in much needed foreign exchange. We need much foreign exchange, children. So if you do the trade in the international market, so you'll get lots of foreign exchange. And the countries that transform their raw materials into wide variety of finished goods of higher value are actually prosperous. Those countries who transform their raw materials into a wide variety of finished goods of higher value, they're actually what, children? Prosperous or developed countries. So all the developed countries are involved in this work. That is why they convert the raw materials into most valuable finished goods and export. Actually, India became a market, children. We are buying a lot of finished goods, which we are getting them from developed countries like USA, Australia, UK, etc. But if we try to export the goods, we'll get lot of foreign exchange and we become developed country. Okay.